Good afternoon, viewers. Today I am going to take an important topic in business law, that is winding up of a company. Winding up of a company means closing of a company. When you go for sole trade businesses and partnership businesses, okay, they'll go for insolvency. Actually, insolvency is an English word, and the Indian word is bankruptcy. And when this will happen, when the liabilities of the business, when it is more than the assets, then automatically it is very difficult for the business people or the individual peoples to pay off the liabilities. So what they will do is they'll go for closing of the company, and that closing of a company will call that thing as insolvency or bankruptcy. They'll keep a petition to the court of to the registrar, or thereby to the court of law, to close their businesses. And the registrar, on receipt of the application, on receipt of the petition, he will send a person and to see the position of that business or the individual. So if the person who will come on behalf of the registrar or on behalf of the court of law will call him as official receiver, and the official receiver will come to the individual or business, and he will look after all the assets. He will take into account all the assets, and he will also go for the liabilities and see how the liabilities are more than the assets. All these things he will look after, and immediately he will take over the assets, and he will sell them in the open market. And after selling the assets, whatever it may be the amounts that he comes, he will categorize the credit liabilities or creditors into four lists. Okay, first one is unsecured creditors as per list A. Okay, so there won't be any security for those creditors. So what he will do is he will group them in unsecured creditors as per list A. After that, he will go for secured creditors. So how many liabilities and how many people they are having the security, and he will look after the security value as well as the liability value. If the security value is more than the liability value, he will sell the securities, and he will clear the liabilities, and whatever it may be the excess amount he will give back, he will take back that, and that thing will call then that as surplus. Okay, so this surplus he can use to clear the other liabilities. And this secured creditors as per list B, he will take into account as per list B. And after that he will go for partly secured creditors as per list C. So partly secured creditors means here the liability value will be more and the security value will be less. So what is the deficiency that he will come across? He will identify that, and that deficiency will always concentrate to clear that with the surplus amount that he derives from secured creditors as per list B. Suppose if that amount is not sufficient, then he will keep the deficiency and surplus separately. Then the last one is preferential creditors as per list D. Preferential creditors, these people they must be paid first. And who are the preferential creditors? Okay, 1 month rent to the landlord. When you are under the landlord, when you are in a rented accommodation, rented premises, for the landlord you have to pay 1 month rent. And salaries to a clerk. Okay, from the date of submission of petition, okay, whatever it may be the salary or wages, okay, you have to pay them first. Then all local taxes and government taxes, whatever the business or the individual is still to pay, he has to pay all the taxes. So preferential creditors as per list D must be paid first. Then we will go one by one the unsecured creditors. Okay, next partly paid secure, partly secured creditors, all these things they must be paid. So, whatever it may be the deficiency, then he will prepare a statement of affairs. Statement of affairs, it is just similar to that of balance sheet, but it is not an actual balance sheet. Okay, so statement of affairs is the amount, is a statement which denotes the unrecognized or suspended amount that we come across. So does deficiency as well as surplus, whatever we come across from list B and list C, we have to take separately. And after that, he will prepare a statement of account, that is deficiency statement, deficiency account. So all the profits, all the capitals, whatever it may be, all the reserves, whatever it may be, he will take on the right hand side. So here deficiency account, it should not be called as an account, it is just prepared for a temporary purpose. So you won't come across any debit or credit. Okay, instead of debit or credit, we have to write that as RHS and LHS. On RHS, all the capitals, whatever it may be, they must be written. And on the LHS side, all the losses, whatever it may be, all the things, okay, whatever to be paid, all these things they must be taken into account. And the difference between RHS and LHS must be equivalent to the deficiency, and that deficiency, the official receiver, he will inform to the court of law or to the registrar, and the registrar or the court of law, they will cancel that, and they will give a certificate, insolvency certificate, to the business or to the individual, stating that they should not enter into any business transactions directly or indirectly for a specified period of time. Suppose if they enter into any business transactions, whatever it may be the deficiency that the court found, that the court cancelled, they must be paid first. That is, that amount must be paid first, and then he can go for any other business activities directly or indirectly. So this is how you will come across in case of individuals or partnership businesses. And when you go for company, we'll call that thing as liquidation. Liquidation, that is, it is to be liquidated, the company is to be liquidated. Okay, for that, okay, the other name is winding up, that is closing of a company. According to Professor Grover, winding up of a company is a process whereby its life is ended and its property is administered for the benefits of its creators and members. This is the first definition that we come across according to winding up of a company by Professor Grover. And another definition is, it is a means by which dissolution of a company is brought about and its assets realized and applied in payment of its debts, and after satisfaction of the debts, the balance, if any, is paid back to the members in proportion to the contribution made by them to the capital of the company. So this is the second definition that we come across, okay, for winding up of a company. And another thing is, the important thing is here what we have to take. First, dissolution of company is compulsory. That is, closing of the company is compulsory. And what aspects that we have to concentrate in this is, first of all, we have to take into account the assets of the company. Then after that, the debts are to be taken into account. Whatever it may be the debts, whether they are secured or unsecured or partly secured or preferential, whatever it may be, they have to take into account those things. So these two things, they will play an important role when you are going for winding up of a company. Then after that, how many types of winding up we will come across? Modes of winding up. We will call that thing as modes of winding up. Under section 270 of the Companies Act, okay, winding up by the tribunal or compulsory winding up and voluntary winding up. These are the two methods, or these are the two modes that we come across. Winding up by the tribunal, once again I'm repeating, winding up by the tribunal or compulsory winding up. Second one is voluntary winding up. Okay, winding up by the tribunal or compulsory winding up. Okay, it is the company should be wounded up by the recommendation of the tribunal. Okay, placed under section 272, the tribunal will pass an order for winding up on an application by any one of the enlisted persons, by any one of the enlisted persons. Okay, then you will come across compulsory winding up. Voluntary winding up, voluntarily the members of the company, they will go for closing of the company or dissolution of the company. That is nothing but voluntary winding up. Okay, voluntary winding up means basing upon the interest of the members of the company, the winding up will be the, uh, the winding up will be, okay, done by the members. So that is nothing but voluntary winding up. And in this voluntary winding up, okay, according to Companies Act of 2013, voluntary winding up which takes place after the acceptance of members and creditors. Okay, this voluntary winding up, it will take place after the acceptance of members of the company as well as the creditors. And compulsory winding up, that is, we are going for the first one, that is tribunal. Okay, what are the grounds? Okay, what are the grounds? Section 271 of the Companies Act of 2013. Okay, they will give some grounds for compulsory winding up. So the first one is company's inability to pay debts. Section 271, subsection 2. Section 271, subsection 2. According to that, when the company's inability to pay off the debts is there, means naturally you will go for compulsory winding up of a company. Then after that, the second one is the second one is okay, failure to make payments on demand. Failure to make payments on demand, that is the next thing that we come across. Next, unsatisfied decreed debt. Unsatisfied decreed debt. So the company people, they will postpone that. We I am going to pay afterwards. So that decreed debt, when it is unsatisfied, whatever it may be, the company people, they are going to pay. If it is not satisfactory, then you will call that thing as unsatisfied decreed debt. Next, proving inability to pay debts or commercial insolvency. So the next one is you have to prove yourself that you are incapable of paying the debts, incapable or inability to pay the debts or commercial insolvency. We cannot able to continue this like that. When you can able to say that, automatically it is nothing but a compulsory winding up. Next, passing of resolution by the company, section 271, subsection B. Passing of resolution. The company people, they will pass a resolution that the company should be closed. So that is the next thing. Next, inappropriate acts of the company. Whatever it may be, the company, if it do in an inappropriate manner, it's not in a appropriate manner, it is in inappropriate way. When the company, when it is doing the business, okay, when it is keeping the acts, then automatically it will go for the compulsory winding up. Next one is sickness of the company. If the company people, if they are not getting the profits continuously for a span of uh, 5 years or 10 years like that, even though the company is doing its level best, but when the company is getting losses, then automatically that company is said to be closed. That is compulsory winding up will be there. Next, application by the registrar or any authorized people. Okay, so the application by the registrar, the registrar will look after all the activities, what the company people they are doing, what the company people doing, how they are doing all these things. And when it is involved in fraudulent, okay, activities and unlawful and fraudulent purposes. Okay, all these things they will take into account, and if the if the registrar, or if we keep an application, okay, then you will come across a compulsory winding up. Next, default made in the financial statements or annual returns. Okay, whatever it might be the default, that is, you have to prepare the financial statements or financial reports in a proper time. When there is a default in that, then also you will come across compulsory winding up of a company. Then what are the things that we come across when you go for this? Okay, just okay, the next one is just an equitable reason for winding up. According to section 271G, this will apply. So just an equitable reason means every person's, they'll say the only one, that single reason, that the shares are not in a good order, the payment is not in a good order, and the employees and creators, the shareholders, they are not getting anything, and they cannot able to do any good thing for the society. They are not considering any benefit to the society. Whenever you come across all these things, then the tribunal will go for compulsory winding up of a company. Next, deadlock in management. That thing also a very important aspect for compulsory winding up of a company. Deadlock management. So the management, when it is not in a good position, when they are not in a good position, when the management is not in a good manner, then also you will come across compulsory winding up of a company. Next, loss of substantiation. Loss of substantiation. Okay, this is also one of the important points, because the registrar, he will always take into account the various statements, the various reports, and he will go through that. And if he come across any fraud, in that activity, in that statements, then immediately he will go for this compulsory winding up of a company. Next, losses. I told you already in the beginning that when a company, when it is getting continuously for some specified period of time, the losses only, okay, even though the company makes its efforts to do in a good manner, but when the company, when it is getting losses continuously, then also it is always better to go for a compulsory winding up. Next, oppression of minority. See, when you go for a company, joint stock company, some people, they will be minority shareholders. Okay, suppose if one company, if it is holding another company, how many shares a holding company will hold? Okay, more than 51% of the shares when a company is holding, we can call that thing as a holding company, and remaining 49% we'll call them that as minority. So when the minority shareholders, when they are not satisfied, when they are rejecting for the continuation of this company, then automatically you will come across oppression by minority shareholders. Whenever you come across this oppression by minority shareholders, then also you will come across the compulsory winding up. Next, fraudulent and illegal purposes. When you establish a company, okay, when you establish a company for a good purpose, you have to establish the company, but you should not establish a company for a fraudulent and illegal purposes. Whenever it is a fraudulent and illegal purpose, automatically the company is said to be closed. This is how you will come across the compulsory winding up or winding up by the tribunal. So with this I am stopping here, and next class I will continue the remaining part. So those people who are interested in any subject, you can just ring up to me or keep messages. And if you like this, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you.